The story starts in the year 2050, when technology was growing at an amazing rate. However, when a wormhole suddenly appeared, it changed everything because it brought a scary disaster with it. Through the wormhole, people from the other world traveled 1,000,000 light years and came to Earth with the goal of taking it over by force as technology in our world fell behind. But a group of cultivators led by China suddenly appeared throughout the year, keeping humanity's hopes alive. The fight between the two groups ended when they were able to beat their much stronger opponents, restoring the peace of humanity. The art of cultivation was completely changed, which led to the first cultivation revolution. Then, 50 years later, some bad guys were looking at a man named Tang Ming who was unconscious and couldn't believe he hadn't died. When they tried to touch him to confirm their suspicions, he grabbed his hand, which scared the crap out of them and made them start beating him again. But unlike before, he fought with the thugs like a fierce martial artist, and his enemies kept falling down as they punched him. Even the leader of the thugs fell down and stayed there while the fight went on. Tang Ming didn't seem like himself when he asked the leader what the year, month, and day were for that day. The guy tried to anger him by calling him stupid, but Tang Ming knew that if the show went on, the guy might even die at his hands. It was discovered that Tang Ming had been reborn in his own body after dying in the final war against the Otherworlders in the year 2120. The Otherworlders had become so powerful that they learned the art of cultivation to fight their own enemy, the humans, as they broke through the sane realm. Before the thugs left, Tang Ming got all the money back that they had stolen from him over the years. In his past life, he was an orphan without any family ties who worked hard to break into the Emperor realm and become the leader of the Cultivator Union. While everyone is having fun, no one thought that the people from the other world would soon come back to their world and kill everyone. But now that God had given him a second chance, Tang Ming knew he had to beat all the Otherworlders for the last time. The following night, he used to finish all of the basic cultivation training from high school and was once again able to reach the level of a real cultivator. He thought it would be helpful to have memories of his past life because he wouldn't have to go through it all over again. But the mountain of ranks was in front of him, and he had to keep climbing up to reach the Saint Realm, the highest rank in the cultivation art. But because of how fast he was, even getting to the Saint Realm before the final war was hard for him, so he had to just focus on his cultivation technique from now on. Miss Wang Jingjing, who came from the Wang family and was a genius, was popular in high school for both her looks and her knowledge. Despite only being in her third year of high school, she advanced to the first rank of cultivation art, and in Tang Ming's previous life, she was like an untouchable goddess to him. He knew he would need her help to learn the week's tempering body technique, though. Tang Ming soon got ready for the night of April 10, 2100, when a criminal monk escaped from Guangqing prison and ran into Wang Jingjing while she was practicing at night. But in his previous life, she was badly hurt in the fight and had to take a month off to heal. So, Tang Ming planned to take advantage of the chance to get close to Wang Jingjing, who could help him in the near future. When the big fight between her and the monk named Zhao Hu started, Tang Ming stepped in almost right away, when the fight was getting out of hand because Zhao Hu was trying to hurt the girl by hugging her. After Tang Ming blocked Zhao Hu's first blow, he introduced himself to Wang Jingjing and suggested that they fight together to defeat the monster in front of them. Even though the girl didn't want his help, she had to give in because he wasn't going to agree with her. She knew that wasting the opportunity would hurt him in the future. Soon, Tang Ming was able to control Zhao Hu's tiger claw, which led the bad guy to offer to take advantage of the girl in front of them both. It turned out that while Tang Ming was distracting the bad guy, Wang Jingjing drew a complete sword. This showed who she was as Zhao Hu lay dead on the ground. The fight, which only lasted a few minutes, brought them closer together, and soon after they met each other. The next day, word about Wang Jingjing spread like wildfire through the whole school of Tang Ming. Soon after, the girl came to look for him with Xue Feng, a senior student at the school. It turned out that she came to thank him, which surprised everyone, as did the fact that Tang Ming himself was there. But Xue Feng didn't take the matter lightly, since he was after Wang Jingjing and wasn't ready to back a competitor like him. While everyone in the class was talking about how bad Tang Ming was, Xue Feng offered him safety, but he turned it down right away in front of everyone. He only cared about getting close to Wang Jingjing, and he was willing to go to any lengths to do so. When it was finally time for the midterm monastic test, everyone was talking badly about Tang Ming. But when his power was finally shown to everyone, it was a whole different story. Wang Jingjing was surprised by Tang Ming's true strength, but Xue Feng didn't like feeling like he was falling behind, so he asked a classmate named Guo Chang to beat him in the test. The teacher told Tang Ming that he might not want to fight him because of how skilled and experienced he had become as a senior over the years. But he accepted the challenge gladly because he wanted to see how strong his opponent was and because Wang Jingjing thought he was strong. When they finally started fighting, Guo Chang was so scared of Tang Ming that he kept dodging his opponent's attacks like he was flowing underwater. Guo Chang soon got angry and went into his best form. But he fell right away when Tang Ming used his dirty trick against him and slammed his head on the ground. Everyone was talking about how good his competitor was, and Xue Feng couldn't believe what he was seeing. Not only that, but Tang Ming also called Xue Feng into the fighting pit after he confirmed his suspicion that Xue Feng was the one who put his previous opponent in place. Soon, when Xue Feng fired at his opponent Tang Ming, even the homeroom teacher was amazed to see the dragon of qi and blood, a great Xianter skill from the Xue family. She was ready to take charge in the middle of the fight if things got worse, and Tang Ming realized that his opponent's father, Xue Hai, was the cause of humanity's biggest loss on Earth. In a past life, Xue Hai sided with the aliens and gave them a lot of important information about Earth. He wasn't ready to lose to the son of a traitor. Xue Feng was very distracted by Tang Ming's bravery, and the obvious flaws in his moves kept showing themselves. Tang Ming could easily pick up on Xue Feng's stroke skills, which were the same as fighting a blockhead and beating him with his unfathomable martial arts skills. Because of what Tang Ming did, Xue Feng went to the hospital on the teacher's advice, and the literary test was over. Tang Ming was approved for the exam room for the day, and the principal called him into his office because the school had just released an ultimate monk full of the future. Wang Jingjing could tell that Tang Ming was about to face the results of his actions, and she wanted to help him, but he didn't want her to. Wang Jingjing was leaving school when she was attacked by several assassins, and they didn't even care that the Monk Alliance would come knocking on their door. Surprisingly, Tang Ming showed up in time to save her from the chaos that Xue Feng had caused in his previous life. Wang Jingjing could tell that the people they were fighting were much stronger than the last time. Students at the scene were surprised to see Tang Ming do fluid martial arts, since none of the grappling skills he used were taught in school. Wang Jingjing finally figured out that the person who attacked her was either trained and raised like a dead warrior by a powerful family or had poison put in his head. After Tang Ming beats his own opponent, he fights the person who was attacking Wang Jingjing while she was judging the assassins based on how they did. She thought that catching even one of them was important for her to move forward, since any information would help her in the future. The killers were carrying the symbol of the Murong family, but Tang Ming wasn't sure if the Murong family was being set up or if they were the ones who wanted to kill Wang Jingjing. Since the Murong family and the Wang family had never been at peace. Since the Murong, who didn't belong to either family, could feel the growing tension. When the fight was over, Jingjing didn't say anything on purpose about the Murong family, and Tang Ming talked to her in a private place about the alien spirit stone. Since she wasn't allowed to touch things like that, she quickly asked him why he wanted to use them. Tang Ming said that he had a reason to improve his strength quickly, and since a heavy tempering was going to be used in the situation, he needed to use the stone to quickly improve his health. All he needed was someone to watch over him while he practiced, since outside things could be bothering him. Jingjing took him to the hospital run by the Wang family, where he could get any kind of protection he wanted, which was watched over by the Wang family. After he saved her life, she gave him the alien spirit stone and the forbidden stone that she had promised him. He is now busy with body tempering. While Tang Ming was in the private chamber trying to strengthen his core, the red alarm went off in the facility because his heartbeat stopped, his body temperature dropped, and he had no other vital signs. She didn't know what to do because it wasn't going to get better after she opened the hatch, but Tang Ming soon got out of the chamber because cracks were starting to show on the outside. Wang Jingjing seemed to care about Tang Ming's situation a lot because she ran to hug him when she saw that he was safe again. She was very emotional and worried about Tang Ming's life, but he reassured her by telling her that the tempering secret method had a lot of room for improvement. Soon, she asked him what his next goals were, which led to a new scene in which he asked his teacher to come to the National Martial Arts exam early. Wang Jingjing, who wanted to pay his tuition before the exam, was one of the students who agreed with him. The teacher wanted him to go through with it, but she had to make him meet the principal first. Xue Feng and the others continued to follow Tang Ming from behind. He hired new men to teach Tang Ming a lesson and make him disabled for life. On the other hand, the principal was proud of his student for getting another ultimate prospect monk into the school. The principal knew how strong his student was because he couldn't watch the literary test because he had a lot of work on his plate. When he saw how amazing the things were that Tang Ming had made with his own hands, he agreed to take the national martial arts exam so that he could get a promotion. Wang Jingjing thought that Principal Ma would be able to get him to take the martial arts test this year. His contracts with the Education Bureau of Guangxing were long, so Tang Ming might need to start thinking about a university in 2 days. When Tang Ming asked Jingjing what she wanted, she said she wanted to go to MANHWA University, which was the one she chose in her last life. Also, MANHWA had learned the most and done the most in his past life, which gave Wang Jingjing and everyone else a break. Suddenly, the guys hired by Xue Feng come up to them, and Tang Ming goes with them while telling Wang Jingjing to go back to class. When they finally left, Xue Feng kept getting angry because he thought that Jingjing already liked him. When everyone got together on the roof, Tang Ming quickly figured out that the men Xue Feng sent after him didn't even go to the school. The men Xue Feng sent to hurt him showed how desperate he was, since they were led by a first-grade monk and 2 future monks. Even though the goons thought highly of themselves, Tang Ming ended up beating them up after a short time. Jingjing watched from a distance. She talked about Xue Feng's actions because his father has a lot of power in Guangxing, especially in the military and political circles. She thought that things would only get worse because Xue Feng was watching him, and she even offered to help Tang Ming with the power and influence of her family. Tang Miang, on the other hand, was only interested in how Xue Hai, who was only a 2nd-grade monk, was able to learn such a powerful technique. Jingjing said that he found a secret cave left by an old monk 10 years ago by accident in the mountain, but Tang Ming thought that Xue Hai had a secret group of friends in the city. In the end, they only got as far as talking about when the aliens finally came to the city through the wormhole, which made them suspect him even more. Tang Ming thought it wouldn't hurt to check out Xue Hai's capital flow and information, which might lead them to something shocking. Back in the Xue Hai group, where Xue Hai was supervising the men sent by his son to his school, his men told him that the 1st-grade monk Zhao who had died before Wang Jingjing gave them shelter. After he heard the news, he told his men to tell his son not to cause trouble, which could get in the way of his plans for the future. After practicing twice in the Wang family's facility, Tang Ming was quickly pushing past his physical limits, but he thought there was still more he could do. The more Jingjing saw him, the more she thought that he must be the only person in the world who could use the technique he was using. Tang Ming gave her a book with old and traditional cultivation techniques, including the Yunyang method, which included a sword drawing technique with miraculous effects. She thanked Tang Ming from the bottom of her heart for his help, since it would help her get past the problem she hadn't been able to solve recently. Tang Ming was glad for her help with training resources. Tang Ming was thinking about dating Wang Jingjing when she told him that the Xue Hai company was doing some shady business in the shadows. The activities were reported to the Monk Alliance, and they were looking into the evidence before issuing an arrest warrant. However, Tang Ming wanted them to be careful because he thought there might be something bigger going on. Even so, Jingjing didn't want him to worry about any of that because he had to take the National Martial Arts test in just 2 days, and the Monk Alliance was ready to handle everything well on their own. The day of the National Martial Arts test finally came, and everyone was amazed by Jingjing, who always got an A. When Tang Ming walked into the arena, the teacher was beaten off the arena less than a second after the test began. This made people think that the Guangxing school had at least 2 young geniuses. Tang Ming was ranked first in the whole country, but Wang Jingjing was ranked second, which got everyone in school excited. When it came time to choose a university, Tang Ming said he wanted to go to Hanbei University. Wang Jingjing didn't understand why because she didn't know that the 9th grade of cultivation isn't the end, but just the beginning. Wang Jingjing agreed to go to Hanbei University when she realized that monasticism would help them in the long run. She knew that he always had a reason to follow his purpose, which would keep him from falling into the ordinary. While they talked about their future, Xue Feng was just waiting for his chance to fight Tang Ming with the help of his father's advanced equipment, and get promoted to monk level that summer for his own good.